Yeah, so here we are. The sun's gone in. What a shame. And it's all quiet now, but we're at Forge Mill Needle Museum. And I want to show you the first exhibition for our Viewpoints group, which is a group of, I can't call them ex-students because they're still with me. Maybe alumni, but that sounds far too posh. But they're people that have stayed with me and working sort of on a mentored continued learning thing. And this is an exhibition we've done based on some heritage quilts from the Quilt Association in Llanidlo's collection. So there we have, straight in front, whacking you right in the eyeballs, is Lee's. I'm going to go straight in on that because it's beautiful. Lee's gorgeous hexagon crazy. We looked at several crazies. I say we, I did, and then put images up because obviously we've got members from Australia, Denmark, etc. They couldn't get there, and put images up for people. And Lee's here done a really beautiful, all hand stitched, hand quilted and embroidered crazy. So when you, it's so worth coming and having a look at this because I can't show you it all, it would take hours. When you come in, there's boards, because we haven't got the original quilts here. We've got boards that show you each of the quilts that we've taken inspiration from and a bit of information about them, which allows you to then relate that to the works that you're looking at. And we had a lovely we had a lovely gathering here today of people who, you know, came around, and we were able to tell them more about how we've gone from, you know, for instance, a 9-patch red and white up there to something completely different in some of the girls' more modern work. So there's the crazies, and you can see sort of there's a grandmother's flower garden, I think it is, and the colours on this one, this is a Canadian quilt actually, I think work really nicely with Lee's. This one is an embroidered bedspread. Pretty sure it's not Welsh actually, but it was on a Welsh person's bed. So there we are, we'll count that, and was donated to the Quilt Association. And on this one, you can see all these absolutely beautiful, all chain stitch patterns and colours. And a lot of the girls took inspiration from this and made work, largely I think picking up both the colours, but the motifs and the patterns and working with those to create new work. So this one's Dee's. Those ones are on felt. That's her bug life. Sounds like a nasty disease, that, doesn't it? Let me get in on those. Aren't these gorgeous? So she started with these. It was interesting hearing her explaining herself today. So she started, I think she said, with this motif here, and then developed that in her sketchbook. And of course they do look bug-like, into fully blown bugs on here. All based on sketchbook work, just manipulating pattern, colour, collage, cropping. You can go a long way with those. Now this one in the corner is a bit different. This one is called Shamrocks, coming close. And this is Dee's version. When we go around the corner, you'll see some quilts that Gina, Tina and myself made based on that red and white 9-patch up there, which we interpreted as Welsh poppies, and is kind of a national quilt, if you like, for Wales, you know, so it's red and white, their flag colours, and some poppies. This is our interpretation. Now, I knew if Dee, she's more of an embroiderer, and I knew if I said to her, would you like to make a 4-foot patchwork, she'd be sick and wouldn't like to at all. But she's done this one. Now, these are the Irish flag colours, and Dee is from Ireland, Deirdre. And the shamrock, which is their national flower. And she's used the 9-patch and the 4-patch and using those sort of ideas and just made this beautiful construction, which I think is really, really clever. Really clever, taken it all. But again, just coming from printing, playing, mixing, trying things together, and you get a fantastic result. Right, I'm going to try and go slowly around the corner because I usually make people feel sick with my videos. And come back here to get this one. And so this is one of Gina's. Now this is based on, if I scan in over there, That quilt was made by Marie Roper, who was, she lived in Herefordshire. She was my tutor at Design Matters, but she was asked by the Quilt Association to make a quilt using Laura Rashley fabrics, which is a connection with Lanny. And that's the quilt she made. And this is one of Gina's takes on that quilt, which you can see the patterning, the stripping, the lines, and those beautiful, beautiful curves. And I'd say that was just coming in close. There's a lot of hand stitching on this. She's used the leaf motif is from Marie's quilt, as are the colours. Really got, and lots of hand printed, hand dyed fabrics. It just looks fabulous, does that? And on that blue background, that board could either be white or blue. So we went for the blue side because that just looks stunning, doesn't it? Now you're coming round to this cabinet of beauties here, I think. So this one we've laid out with, first of all, I'll show you this one because this is another one of Gina's quilts. So you've got a bit of glass reflection here, so I'm sorry about that. But it's a pair for the one we just looked at with that dark blue and those curves, and some circular motifs, and again, some beautiful stitching, which I would always expect from Gina. And then the rest of this is all our D's based on that beautiful embroidered bedspread. So here's some more of her bugs. Those ones, that's on fabric, I think. I'm through a door. Yeah, I think bug layers, it's on fabric. The patterns put in and stitched. These ones are some manipulated photos that she's printed onto paper, stitched, and there's two there. And if I scan around, there's two over there. And then on this end, and these all feel, I think it's the hand stitching on these. That one down there actually at the bottom is Lee's, Lee who made the crazy quilt. That's her one, also based on the embroidered bedspread. And another one of these at the top, and they just feel, I don't know, maybe because they're slightly smaller scale, the colours, the hand embroidery on them, they feel very homely to me. So we've put these in here together with this beautiful, let me try and get in on that, beautiful embroidered cushion, which has, well, it has machine's construction on it, but loads of hand embroidery as well. And there's mine. I made that little one to go with it because I don't like seeing cushions on their own. They should be in pairs. They need friends. And then this one, which is a printed and stitched, I think it was a donated baby blanket, which Dee's used to kind of represent fading memories and time passing. And what she put here to suggest the passing of the years and, oh, hang on. And the memories of past embroideries. I think that's really lovely, that. And then we finished it off, as we would with me, with a vase of flowers. Dee's suggestion, we were looking at this. Let me come back so you can see the whole thing. Saying it just needs something there. Vase of flowers. So over to Sainsbury's on the other side of the road. Vase of flowers stuck in there. This one is Gina's beautiful, oh, that's lovely. I've got that, great. That's Gina's beautiful poppies. Don't they look fabulous against that brick wall? What a colour combination. But these are based again on the red and white quilt and our interpretation of that as a Welsh poppy, which she's run with there, and she's done some printing of poppies. And then these are so pieced in the background and then appliqued and machine stitched on the top. Beautiful. I know you all love this because you've loved it online, but here it is in its flesh, looking quite delicious. And then if we come along this wall, these are the ones that are sort of taken from you can see on the poster at the bottom, that 9 patch again. And I suggested to Gina and Tina, because they're both from different countries, so Gina, Australia, Tina, Denmark, that we make an English, an Australian and a Danish version of that 9 patch to make a big display. It's a pity we haven't got the original quilt here because it would look stunning with those. But these are our kind of, we took the same pattern. Gina, who's good at that kind of stuff, made us some instructions to make this same pattern with the borders and the corners and the 9 patch. So Tina has done marguerites from Denmark. That's their national flower. And these, she's called this Marguerite route, and apparently they have this emblem on lots of places where there's a good path to go along, to tell you to go along and follow it. This one is Gina's, and she has used the Australian golden wattle, which is their national flower, and the colours of the Australian flag. Just coming close on that because there's some really beautiful machine quilting, quite beyond anything I could do, but absolutely gorgeous on that. And then this one, which is mine, which is the English roses. I popped in some white roses as well. So we've got red roses, white roses, Lancashire and Yorkshire, but you know, Yorkshire really, I think. And that's, I've machine embroidered the flowers. Gosh, you can't really see on there, but they are. And then machine quilted in the background. So I love those three together. I think they look so nice, really nice. So then up here, let's come up this one. Actually, I'll keep back from this because it's fabulous from a distance, then I'll go in. This is Gina's log cabin, based on or inspired by one of the log cabin quilts we saw. But what she's done is, rather than construct the logs in the traditional way, if I come in, you can see she's used stripy fabrics. And she's laundered this to give it a very soft, sort of aged look. And there's some beautiful sort of sashiko type hand stitching in this. You see, look at that, oh, lovely. Little insert in the binding. But that's so effective, isn't it? I mean, it really reads. And Marie's, these are leaf motifs taken from Marie Roper's quilt in here. So you've got a mix of two quilts in there. Really, really nice. And I remember how quickly she made this, actually. It's a really quick way of making a log cabin. So coming round here, this is the big cutter quilt. I've told you about this online, that I made for this space, really, because it needed something big. But these are all fabrics from old, they're actually North Country quilts, I think. But Welsh, you would have the same, you can get the same things from the Jen Jones Centre in Wales, where you get quilts that have been used usually on farms for the horses, for the cows, for the stables, and they've been damaged. And it's not unusual because old quilts, you know, they'd be used on the beds, and then when they were tired, they would be used outside. And they're too damaged to be kept and preserved as whole quilts, but they've been cut up to keep the patches that are still good. And so I'd got a collection of these, and I've put these together to make this quilt. So, you know, you see here, you've got, these are tiny, I would say that's perhaps 3/4 of an inch hexagons, so perhaps cut from an inch, all hand pieced together. There's some larger hexagons over here. So this side is all the quilt fronts. And there'll be fabrics here that some of you might recognise. I'm guessing that most of these are 100 years plus old. There's a real variety of fillings in these as well. So this goes from this one, which is like two very thin sheets of material, to that one there. I can see is really puffy. That had some really fat wadding in, and there's one somewhere. It was a nightmare for me to get. I think, is it that one? Well, it's good because I can't tell, so I've obviously sorted out the nightmare. It might have been this one that had blankets, you know, I think 2 blankets inside it, because they just used what they'd got. You know, that's where quilting comes from. It was a cheap way of making something from nothing. And on the back of this one, you've got the other side of the quilts, because they come as whole patches. And on here, you can see the quilting patterns, which is really nice. So they're all, I didn't have to quilt this because it was already quilted. All I've done is kind of found an arrangement that works and triple stitch these together. So I'm really pleased with that. That's kind of preserved a bit of the past, and I've called that for my sister's past and present, because I feel a very strong connection to the women that made these things in the past. These ones, let me get them so you can see them all together, because this is, whoa, nearly falls over. Set of, oh, I can't turn my camera in. There we are. A set of 5 along here, all by Tina from Denmark. And these also use motifs from that embroidered blanket. Tina loves screen printing, jelly printing. She did a huge pile of printed fabrics using these motifs. and then made this, oh, I've got a Mr. Sunshine on the screen, don't know what I've done there. And then made this collection of pieces, which also relate to her experiences being part of our MIP group, which is a very supportive group of women. You know, we support each other through all sorts of things. And that kind of reflects back on quilting bees and the way women always have met together to support each other whilst doing something useful. So I like that connection, and these are beautiful. I love the colours. They seem very Danish to me. I don't know why, but they just do. Perhaps because I know Tina loves them. I really like those windmills on that one. This one, she's called Mip's Party. And we, the Mips, are represented by the flowers and the pots. So these are very personal. Tina's pieces often are very personal. And these are no exception. And then on here, this is quite harsh on the camera because of the light, but this is over a window, and this middle one is one of Gina's pieces, and because it's on the window you can see all these layers of transparency through it. It's all constructed from deli paper, and you've got jelly prints on there, and they relate to, they're the leaf. She was inspired by the leaf patterns in Marie's quilt, and has really gone for it with her layers here. I mean, they're fabulous, aren't they? I'll just scan over that so you can see, you know, patterns beneath, patterns above. One of the nice things about printing with deli paper is you get that. And one of the nice things about printing with paper is you get this really, really crisp print. Yeah, see, I'm just looking at that, just that crop out that I've got there on the screen. I mean, that's another beautiful construction all of itself. And then next to that, you just got a couple of, these are just machine stitched Welsh poppies. And when we were over at Lanny one time having a workshop, the poppies happened to be out, so we were screen printing. So I just, look at that reflection there of the window behind me. I mean, that could make a quilt. I just grabbed these and we screen printed the poppies, and I did loads of them. This one's on paper, that one's on fabric. And the poppy is something that we really took from the quilts and worked quite a lot with. And this is Gina's triptych. Come back, I'm determined I'm going to get in under 20 minutes, which for me is pretty quick actually. So this again is leaf prints inspired by Marie's quilt on three boards, but I read this as one piece really, but I'll just zoom in and scan you across a bit. So again, you have got some layers of transparency here, not as much as on the others because there's, I think there's probably some layout paper in here and some rice paper. Stitching on papers, beautiful. And these are just, they're beautiful, aren't they? Fabulous collages. Love collage. Oh, I do love collage. Look at that big boy print up there. Love it. So all of you printing jelly leaves, there's lots of inspiration for you there, or something to do with them. This is just simply the biographies or short biographies of people that are exhibiting in this exhibition. So you can have a read about us. Another board about another of the quilts. And then here we have Gina's Flower Power, also inspired. That red and white quilt, honestly, for a plain 9 patch, has inspired some fantastic work. So this is Gina's Flower Power, also inspired by that. And I think kind of shows Gina's love of colour, just a bit. And some lovely inserts. I'm sure I've seen some somewhere. Where are they? There's some inserted triangles. I know there is. Lost them. Oh, they're here. They're on the edge. I knew I had. Just beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. And then in the cabinets here and over there, there's lots of the design ideas and work that we did for you to look at. And oh, these, that's where I'm trying to go. In this cabinet, we have more work. The smaller pieces are not very easy to hang on these walls because they're bigger, but these, we've put these in here. This is another set of Tina's. And when we take this lot to Festival of Quilts, which we will be doing next year, we'll be able to hang these as a set. But they're in here, and again, these are based again. They're the motifs from the embroidered bedspread and a sort of celebration of our group of women. I love women. I mean, I don't mind men. I like men too. I'm nice to men, but these, they are just gorgeous, aren't they? beautiful colours. And then around here, in this one, we've got some pieces. Oh, I've got the lights right above me there. If I do it sideways, it gives you a pretty strange view, but at least you can see without the lights hitting onto them. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. It's a bit naughty, because it's only in my phone. Bear with me. I'll get this open. Just hang on. I'm going to put you down for 10 seconds. There you are. You just sit there for a minute, and I'm coming back. Can't do it with one hand. Ow! I wonder if they're locked. No, I can't get it open. Okay, that's not working out. Okay, well, we've got Liz's beautiful. Absolutely love that one, When the Boats Come In. These are based on the Camroofied blanket and motifs taken from it. And again, at festival, we'll be able to get these up on the wall. It's just we can't hang this size here. Or you can, but they're lost. They're completely lost on these sorts of walls. We need bigger combinations on here. So we've put them in here so that you can see them nicely. And that one also based... Oh, that's better, isn't it, if I go in close? That one's made out of some old linens. And with a print of the castle. It's Carnarvon Castle, which is on the original blanket. And then this one that has the boats, also on the original blanket. Absolutely love that. Such a simple colour scheme, but how effective is that? Just red, white and blue and black boats. Gorgeous. And then this one is another one of Dee's books, but this time with some shimmery paints on a black background, which look fantastic too. Oh, I've missed 20 minutes. Bugger. Never mind. Never mind. It was never going to happen, was it? Last cabinet here is this one where we've got some of the embroidered books. These are also based on that embroidered bedspread and some of the motifs on it. I can see that. There's Dee's ones. That was Lee's. That's Lee's book. This one is Dee's book. Oh, some pages from Dee's book. And then this one down here is a collaged book by Dee, again, based on the same. This is my work in progress, uncompleted, but this one is based on quilt motifs from the whole cloth quilt, which is to be developed further. And then we just have some more samples here of some of the other ideas we looked at. This was reverse applique. So there's loads to look at. There's loads to look at in the Needle Museum itself as well. Upstairs from here, if you come, go up those stairs and have a look upstairs at some of the needle display cases. They're just awesome. So heading back out again, and just run round. And that's it. So if you can visit, please do, because it's gorgeous. We've had a really good reception from the people that came today. If you really can't get here, this will also be going to Festival of Quilts in 2020, whatever next year is, lost track, 2025 I think next year, and we would love to see you there. And there we'll be able to have more of the sketchbooks and stuff out for you to actually browse through. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Those that can't come and those of you that can come, I hope you will. Okay, bye for now.